Just prepping this shower area ready for tanking now. So I've got the tray down, ordered all the walls, ready to go with the tanking. This is a bit of a different system to ones I've used before, but the reason I went for this is because the size of this tray, I couldn't get the trays that we normally fit to go in here. So first step for the tanking process is, once I've done all the boarding, so imagine that's all done, the first thing they tell you to do is sand the tray, which is a bit random, but to give it a bit of a key for the tanking to stick. So I'm just literally going over the tray, sanding it up, getting any bits off, then I'm going to give it a really good clean and get this trap put in. So with this trap system on this particular tray, so this is a wet room tray that I'm going to tile. It's basically like a normal shower tray, but it's made to be tiled. You use a special primer and tanking kit on it, and then you can tile it. I'm using a Purus trap, which is what was recommended by the company I bought the products off. But basically it's a two-part trap system, solvent weld, 1.5" normal. Normally, let me just set this up. So normally what you would do is fit this bit under the floor and pipe it all up, so you can actually test that. And then, because obviously once you put your tray down, you can't get access to that. But I'm lucky here because I've got the blessing of being able to get in the room below, because it's a garage, so I haven't got to panic too much about that. So normally that would go in the floor and it's all piped up. Then you screw this bit on top, and then this bit goes into that. But this first bit I can do out of place. So just screw that onto there. That's not actually a water joint. The only water joint is this seal on the inside, where this top part of the trap clips in. It took me a while to get my head around, because, you know, from what I'm not traditionally used to normally using, it just doesn't make sense. But basically that goes into there then, like that. So that'll be like that. Then this one's going to clip in top, and I'm going to screw it into place with some small screws. And then what we're going to do is tank over that, and tank into this bit here with a clamping ring. And then basically it means that all of this is completely sealed and covered by the tanking. So I am going to put some silicone on this, but this technically isn't an actual water joint. The only bit that the water goes in is through here into the trap. And then by the time it actually gets into the trap, it's below the seal. So I'm going to put some silicone on that. I'm using the Fisher MS silicone, which is a hybrid silicone, which is what they recommend you use. So I'm going to put a little bead on there. Now, like I say, I don't think you have to put this bead on here, but they just recommend that you do. So I'm going to put that on there. Probably just to help hold it all in place and stop it from moving. That's going to go there. Now I'm going to drop the trap in and bed that into that. And then next, this bit, I'll take that out. This part's like a bit, that's the actual trap. It's on a spring, which again is something that I'm not really used to seeing, but apparently it gives you a good water flow through it. But that is, once this is all done, this is removable, so you can clean it and stuff. I'll take that out. Now I'm going to fit the top sealing ring, which again I'm going to put a little bead of silicone on, and then you push it in till it clicks, and then once it's in, you then go on with the tank. I'll put a little bead around here. That should be it for the silicone. So now I'm going to drop that one in. I'm going to push it down until I hear this click. There you go. Right, so now that's in, so put it all in, push it down till it's clicked. Now I'm going to put the 4 screws in, pilot it, screw it down, and then that, give it all a clean up, and that's going to be ready for tanking. Right, so got all the trapping. Now the next stage in the process is to basically do the tanking. So from what I understand, speaking to the people at Bathrooms Innovation, who helped me out with getting me set up on this, the idea is that this trap is now actually, that's sealed. So that's finished and done. This is like a sticky back tanking that's going to go over the top like that. I'm going to stick it on, and then when we actually tank the shower area, this will then be tanked over the top to then create the actual tanking, so that any water, and then you put a clamping ring in here and that wedges that in, and then any water that then runs obviously over the tile into there will go down into the trap. So this is the first time I've ever done one like this, like I say, so I'm kind of learning as I go with it, but it's pretty straightforward. To be honest, a lot of wet rooms are straightforward, but I guess it's just quite nerve-wracking because you get one chance with stuff like this and you can't always do testing and to make sure you're happy with it and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm going to do is just eye that up. I'm going to put just a tiny mark there, there and there, just so I can line this up. And this is like a sticky back sort of tanking. So it's like a tanking tape with sticky back already on. So obviously this has been cleaned up, sanded up, this is ready to go. I'm going to peel some of that back. And I'm going to hope I get this right because, like I say, I've only got one chance with this. I'm going to peel that back. Tell you what I'm going to actually do to make my life maybe a bit easier is cut off the first little bit of that, so that I can flip this over and hopefully stick it. Push me up, it should be alright anyway. So I'm going to line up my marks, my 3 marks, so my left mark, my right mark, that mark, and then I'm going to let that just drop down. So now that's in line. So now what I should be able to do is peel this back and work my way down with it. Yeah, that's working nice. Let's work across the now. Spot on. Push that down. So now what I need to do is cut this so that then this will push that in to create the rest of the seal. So again, with what the instructions say, speaking to the guy who supplied me the kit, he said cut sort of a star in here. He said don't go too big to start with. So I'm basically in the middle of the trap, putting a sort of star shape. Then he says basically keep cutting the star until you can get this in. So there you go. And that, I believe, is that. There is a little tool you can buy that you put in here to cut it, but they don't send it with the trap. And the original instructions weren't great, but I managed to find a company who have made better instructions for it, and they've sort of made their own version of instructions for it. But I'd have probably bought that little tool, but there you go. So now I believe what I do is cut these bits off. Alright, there we go. So that's what I was trying to say. So what I'm saying is that that joint that's under there doesn't actually need to be watertight. It's just to hold the trap in place, because let's just say if there was any water that got on there, it's going to run across the tanking that we do, and then it's going to go over there and in there. So that rubber gasket that's on the trap there is part of the actual water seal, whereas that bit is just for holding it in place. But they just recommend you put a bit of silicone on. Like I said, I'm not really sure what the purpose of that is, but that's what they recommend. So that's that. So now I'm going to get this area primed, and then we can start with some actual tanking. Right, so that's a wrap for tonight. I was going to try and make some videos of me actually doing the tanking, but it's 11:25 at night, and I had to get this ready for the tiler tomorrow. So that's it. Tanking's actually quite an easy job. You get some internal corner pieces which look like this, and they, let me just try and show you. Imagine this is a shower area. They sit in the corner like that, and you stick them in. So you put paste on the wall, then you put your internal corners in. So I've done one there, one there, one there, one there. Then you stick them in and go over it. On these insulation panels, you don't have to do the actual board itself. You just do the joint. So as you can see there, I've just put it over the joint there, over the joint there. I have painted that just because I was using up what's on my brush, and same on the floor. I've just gone over where the screw heads were, on all the internals across this joint here, and an external corner for here, internal corner, and obviously that's the setup earlier. And then I've painted the whole thing. You can kind of see it gleaming in the light, in the paste. But yeah, the tiler's coming tomorrow. He's only got a day here tomorrow because he's quite busy. He's coming to do the back of the niche, and he's coming to do the shower area floor. Which is going to be obviously a continuation of these hexagons running into there, around there, and across the back. So I said if you come tomorrow and get that done, and then he's going to arrange coming back to get the rest of the walls actually tiled in, the wall tile. So yeah, good plumbing everyone.